when I'm standing, when I'm looking at you in all of your glory, I think that is the thing that that kept coming into my mind was like, you have worked so hard to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people think that you skipped some steps and you got some easy road paved for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the case.
No.
Yeah.
I've cried more than I've smiled.
Yeah.
But we in the smiling days now.
I mean, in the smiling days.
In the smiling days. But there have been more tearful nights. There have been more moments of disappointment than joy. But you persevere and you get to this moment. And it doesn't mean that it's never easy. There's a basketball coach, Carol Lawson at Duke, and she says, you just do hard better.
Mm-hmm.
You just do. And that sits with me because, like, I never want things just to be like, do.
Yeah.
I always want this challenge. Like, this is not it for me. This is literally just the beginning.
Yeah.
But I just learned how to do hard better. And everyone can learn how to do hard better. And a lot of people, I'll say this, Brandi, I have worked very, very hard. And I've sacrificed a lot. But so have a lot of people, and they haven't found themselves in this position. The thing I would say to those folks is just keep going. You never know what the next second will bring you.
Yeah.
And literally, I could have quit a day too soon.
I mean, when you look at all the things, your mother, all the health challenges, even after the quadruple bypass, there was still hurdles to jump.
There were.
Because when I was sitting there having lunch with your mom, I'm sitting there like, I'm sorry, Miss Fawn, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then 2 months after that, she had a minor stroke.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot.
Yeah.
And you just stay focused on your priorities.
Yeah.
And you don't let the distractions take you away. But I'm not going to lie. There were like a couple nights I was like, woo-wee. Woo-wee. Woo. Pressure makes diamonds, girl. But like, maybe you just want to be a pearl. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus.
I don't want it that bad.
Because look, I also am an attorney by training. So I read every document in this deal.
Yeah.
Every single word I read. I put notes on documentation because I was like, I'm not, no shade, but I'm not about to be TLC out here. You're not about to BBD, don't devote me out here. Like, I'm not. I came up in the era where, like, we got bad deals. And I'm like, how do I structure this right? How do I stay smart? How do I make sure? But the protection came, right? Because this is what I was supposed to do. But due diligence is a real thing.
The due diligence.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. I want you to go back because there are people who always thought that the root was Black owned.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learned in your acquisition that there was a time and space where it wasn't. So kind of tell me what happened.
Yeah. So in 2008, Henry Louis Gates was the co-founder with Donald Graham, who owned the Washington Post. So the Root was a part of the Washington Post, and they were co-owners. I think there were a host of other owners as well. At several years later, maybe 6 or 7 years later, it then was sold to Univision. Univision kept it for maybe 5 years, and then was sold to a company called Geo Media, who owned another suite of properties, and then I purchased it from Geo Media. So this is the first. And Univision and Geo Media were not Black owners.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was how.
Yeah.
Because I think so many people were confused, like because they had been used to seeing the Route 100
Yes.
and seeing the list come out for all these years. And the assumption
Me too.
was that this was a Black-owned media company.
There are a lot of things out there that people make assumptions that are Black owned that are not. And it doesn't mean they're not made for us, but made by us feels different.
Yeah. What made this list different? Because when you sat down with your team and you had to come up with this Route 100 for this year, what made this list different? Because even when you and I talked about this, it was like, I want to be on the Route 100. And you're like, yeah, I did too. That's why I bought it. Clock it.
No, I didn't say that.
No, she didn't say that.
I mean, the Route 100 has been aspirational to me. I will literally tell you. In maybe 2010, I was reading one of the lists, and there was a gentleman, Joshua Dubois, and he ran the Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership Office for the White House. And I was like, what is that? how do you get that job? And that was a marker in my career to start to work for that position that I eventually got a very similar position to that appointment at the White House. So it has always been aspirational. I wanted to make sure that one, in the year of 2025, where it felt like Black folks were approaching the world in a different posture because of some being disappointed in the 2025 or 2024 election. The world was moving real fast. I wanted to make sure, one, it was an accurate snapshot of the entire year, right? So you forget what happens in January when it's in August,
Yeah.
right? Like, I forgot Hillman Talk was that year. I
Yeah.
forgot, like, Sinners came out last year. By, Sinners was great, but by like September, I was like, what happened in January? What
Yeah.
happened in February? So we really did a lot of research where we went through social media, we went through publications to chronicle every month of the year and make sure it was a full snapshot of the year. Two, we wanted to, before it used to be under 45, we wanted to make sure that we had a range of, because I think in this moment, the most important thing we do is to work as a collective and not be in competition. So we had young people on the list and we had people in their 70s on the list. So it ranged. And the diversification of audience. So we wanted people in business. We wanted people in politics. We wanted people in journalism. As a publication, we had a lot of storytellers on there. We wanted people who you may never have heard of, but you should know.
Yeah.
So that if a young scientist is looking for aspiration, they can see Julian Brown on there. And if a young journalist is looking for aspirations, they can see Tamron Hall on there. If a business major is looking, they could see Takedra on there, and who knew the CEO of Waymo, the driverless cars, is a Black woman, like
Yeah.
reshaping the way our lives are. And so we really wanted it to be a snapshot. The other thing that was different this year is we took away the rankings.
Yeah.
Because, we're human. And so if you're like, well, why last year I was 10 and this year I'm 15, did I not do enough? Or I'm 1 and then do you want to be 100? It was like, you all are crushing it in your field and you are all collective of a community, and this is the class, and we are presenting to you as a whole. And it took the people who were on it, the people who have been on it before, really said that meant something. We do not have time to be fighting amongst each other about whether I was 1 or 5.
Yeah.
We've lost the plot.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we've lost the plot. And so it wasn't my idea. Actually, our publicist made that recommendation, Nicole Shore, and I loved it. And again, ownership is a beautiful thing, because she came to me and said it, and I was like, oh God, how am I gonna do this? And so then I went to the folks who had been there before, and they were like, that's a great idea.
If that blessed you, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more wisdom, truth, and transformation waiting in the full conversation. Click the link in the caption below to watch the entire interview, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Vault Empowers Talks.